Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. So during the break, we were all discussing amongst ourselves, oh no, the people that are, Nigerians are angry with the discos, Nigerians are angry because there's no power. How can they cut off Ibadan, a university teaching hospital where you have life and death situations? Where do we draw the line as a business to understand that there are some, maybe, how do you calm the losses? How do you pay up your investors? How do you protect your interests? How do you remain in markets and yet serve in a country like Nigeria, where the expectation is that power is for the people, is free? Why can you not give us power? Please, these are the things that are, I think our audience need to understand how to balance it out, because many people are genuinely angry that the disco, the Ibadan distribution company also disconnected UCH. And they are feeling like there's justification for what happened to them. And while we can sit down on this show and say there is no justification, everybody unitedly saying for that, what we saw in that video, how can we find that balance? Okay.
The first thing we require our people to understand is for them to understand the structure of our business. We, the discos, we are distributors. We are distributing somebody else's product, of which the person pays 20% of whatever we collect. So every time we take this product to town and the customers are not paying, the owner of the product keep shouting on us, threatening us, I won't give you another one next week if you have not paid for the one for last week. So as distributors, in a very heavily regulated industry, and you will have had all the time, but remittance, they are not remitting, they are not collecting enough. Collecting that you hear, these collection losses is about our ability to collect money from customers. And all organizations, including the military, and I will say for a fact that this government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, something that I know is that he believes so much in payment of bills, just like Mr. Babatunde Fashola did when he was power minister. He insisted that the ministry, department and agencies, MDA, including the military, should be paying their, I made effort to pay some of the debts. So in 2023, the Ikeja Air Force Base, their total bill was 1.4 billion. It was not in contention. They agreed, they accepted, they know. Part of 1.4 billion, they paid 1.2 billion, which is commendable. 2023, they paid that much because the federal government sent money to them. And they have been sending money to them till today. So they pay 1.2 out of 1.4, leaving a balance of 191 million. That was in 2023. Last year, 2024, their bill went up by another about 100 million. So their total billing was 1.5 billion. Guess what? Despite the fact that they collected money, despite the fact that you could check the allocation, you will see that money went to this military through the Federal Ministry of Defense. Out of 1.5 billion, they only paid 623 million. That was the beginning of our problem with them, and we started writing them. In June last year, they beat off our staff that we sent to Ikeja Air Force Base. We didn't come here. We didn't tell anybody. We've been beaten many times.
So what is a history of
violence? Beaten. In Abeokuta, there's a Garrison command. You can call it Alamala. They beat us there in 2016. They beat us there in 2018. We've been beaten. In Kaduna, we were beaten. In Jos, we were beaten.
No. Okay, so the history of beating is not
so perpetual.
Yes. Sadly, we don't even have time. We have two other guests coming on this show today.
Yes, but so I just want to chip in something. That there's no justification for beating or putting anybody's life at risk because they're working with you. But I want to understand, because there's just too much. It's so sad that when something like this happens, normally Nigerians and everybody will fight for the people. But it's so bad that there's so much anger against you guys.
The service
so do you think that maybe the way you guys render a service in terms of customer service relationships need to change and adjust so that regardless of anything, even though the people are owing or that has to do with meet up, maybe if your customer relationship is better, regardless of anything, you can also garner some support when things like this happen.
Okay, we are not 100% perfect yet. We are not where we are supposed to be.
Yeah,
but I can
far.
say that we have improved a lot in the last 10 years. Just like I mentioned the issue of the upgrade going on in Badagry, we inform our customers, we send messages, even in the case of Ikeja, and so many customers came and said, what's the TCN upgrade? Because they got text messages. We have improved our communication, but we still need to do more, because to be honest, our staff, even though we spend a lot of money on staff training, I'm still very concerned that some of our staff don't treat customer well enough. But we also want customer to understand, the moment the food you have in the house, you have 11 people in the house, and you have food that is only enough for 4 people, there's no way you can satisfy the 11 people, because what you have is not enough. The problem with electricity in Nigeria has to do with the fact that the quantum of what we are able to produce as a country is just too low for the populace. And we are the one that, you know, I've said it before, there's a value chain.
They are the closest to us.
So we are the one that you abuse, and they say we are not doing it well enough. Can I produce electricity in Ikeja or Eko? I cannot.
Can
I transmit it? And thank God, please let us encourage states and local government to begin to generate, and that's the essence of the new Electricity Act of 2023 as amended.
For me, the way I would like
that
to
is the way to go, and I hope Nigerians can pay for it.
Yeah. For us, that history of violence, you see how he mentioned one person here, one incident there, and now it's a whole collection of military going against the institution.
We permitted the one.
We need to be careful. That's the message that we need to send out. This has to stop, and it has to stop now. There has to be repercussions and consequences for what happened, so that we will not have a repeat of this or widespread repeat of this in the future.
Yeah. We, once again, we would like to join them to call on the president to create to actually chart a decisive action course for this particular incident, the 2 incidents that happened in this month of March, because the president is the one that is going to the France, is going to the UN, is going to country, from country to country to get investors, and this video doesn't look good, especially if we don't have a strong reaction. All business owners are worried as it is. While I empathize with Nigerian citizens who complain of bad services from Discos transmitting and Gencos, all of them together, I think this is not the right way to go about it. So that's just what we want to say as we conclude on this. Thank you, Otuba, for shedding light on the challenges that your people are facing. It is definitely a risky job to work with any disco in this country right now. But we'll take a break. When we return, it's still a month-long celebration. We're talking about women all through the month of... And funny enough, the Ikeja Disco CEO is a woman, Eco Disco a woman, and they are putting in their very best. So trust me, we will do our best to support as much as possible. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.